The WNBA has just been flipped upside down. Brittney Griner makes a shocking move.
Brittney Griner no longer in Phoenix.
Caitlin Clark continues her takeover.
You know, a lot of people say that Caitlin Clark moves the needle. That is wrong. She is the needle.
And Angel Reese? Well, let's just say she's still talking a big game without backing it up.
How about you give us some offense now? You been in the gym, they say. Oh, loopy.
This league has never been more exciting or more dramatic. But the real question is, are some of these players scrambling to stay relevant in the Caitlin Clark era? Let's get into it. All right, let's start with the big free agency bombshell. Brittney Griner signing with the Atlanta Dream.
Because in one of the biggest moves in the W, Brittney Griner no longer in Phoenix. Instead, next season, she'll be taking her talents to ATL. In a video posted on social media on Tuesday, Griner announced that she intends to sign with the Atlanta Dream, marking the end of her 11-year career with the Phoenix Mercury. She plans to sign a one-year deal.
Yeah, you heard that right. After 11 years with the Phoenix Mercury, Griner is now trying to revitalize a franchise that hasn't been relevant since, well, ever. But here's where it gets really interesting. Why the sudden move east? Why join a team that finished with a dismal record and barely scrapes by in ticket sales?
Swept in the playoffs last season. And I mentioned Alessa Philippou, our girl, reporting just this morning that the three-time W champion Natasha Howard will sign with the Indiana Fever.
Well, let's connect the dots. Griner knows that Caitlin Clark is the biggest draw in basketball right now. She's seen the Fever transform overnight into must-watch television. And instead of staying in the shadows out west, she's coming straight for the biggest spotlight in the league. Now, some analysts are saying, oh, she's just looking for a fresh start.
Like, she's getting some new, younger energy into her mix, and she's bringing with them that championship pedigree that they want to continue there.
But let's be real, guys. Griner is seeing the shift happening. This isn't her league anymore. The WNBA is Caitlin Clark's world now, and everyone else, they're just trying to stay in the conversation. If Griner hopes to maintain her status in this new era, she has to prove she still has the dominance that once defined her career. But can she? At 34, she's coming off seasons that, while impressive, were nowhere near her prime years. The question is, can she adapt to a team that has struggled with consistency? And more importantly, can she handle being overshadowed by a new generation of superstars led by Caitlin Clark?
I do agree with her.
Okay.
I am just disappointed in some of the points she negated.
Only time will tell, but history shows that the league isn't kind to aging stars trying to reclaim their relevance. For the Atlanta Dream, this move is a calculated risk. On one hand, they are bringing in a seasoned veteran who could provide much-needed leadership. On the other, they're altering their entire system to accommodate a player who, realistically, may not be in her prime anymore. Coach Carl Smesko, known for his five-out offensive style, now has to adjust his philosophy to fit Griner's post-heavy play. The real question is, can they make this work? Because if they can't, this could go down as one of the most overhyped free agency moves in WNBA history. This wouldn't be the first time a veteran player struggled to adapt in a league that's rapidly changing. Look at some of the past legends who tried to extend their careers past their prime. Some adapted, changing their play style to fit the modern game, while others faded into irrelevance. Griner has to prove she can still dominate in a WNBA that's now being built around high-paced, perimeter-heavy play. Otherwise, her move to Atlanta may be more about publicity than performance. Now let's talk about the real reason the WNBA is exploding in popularity: Caitlin Clark.
Don't get it twisted. Don't get it fucked up. Caitlin Clark is the reason why a lot of great things is going to happen for the WNBA.
Indeed, Clark has done more for the league in a few months than players like Griner and Reese have done in their entire careers. Let's not forget, Clark broke the all-time NCAA scoring record, brought millions of new fans into the WNBA, and is already turning the Indiana Fever into a powerhouse franchise. But the best part? She doesn't need to chase clout. The NBA wanted her for their All-Star Weekend's three-point contest. I mean, who wouldn't? Clark's range is absolutely insane. But what did she do? She turned them down. Not because she couldn't compete. We all know she'd give Steph Curry a run for his money, but because she's committed to building up the WNBA. Even Stephen A. Smith, who's usually critical of everything, couldn't help but praise her decision.
I totally applaud what Caitlin Clark is doing. She's putting the WNBA first. She's saying, yo, we matter first to me. We should matter first to the ladies. I'll make an argument. Considering the lackluster effort the NBA players have been given during All-Star Weekend, they should matter more, period.
Smith went on to describe NBA All-Star performances as disgraceful and embarrassing. And let me tell you why. He pointed out something that has been bothering basketball fans for years.
It's a travesty what has happened to the NBA. I'm going to say this, Elle, and I've said this before. You may not have seen me say it. I know Shanae has seen me say it. These guys play harder in summertime when they're working out than they play at All-Star Weekend. How inexcusable is that?
But wait, it gets even better. Stephen A. was particularly heated about last year's All-Star game, where they almost scored 400 points. Not because it was great basketball, but because there wasn't, in his words, a lick of defense. He called it a glorified layup line and a glorified 3-on-3 rotation. When Stephen A. says it was disgraceful that they don't care enough, you know it's bad. And this is exactly why he was so impressed with Caitlin Clark's decision. In the middle of his rant about the NBA's lack of effort, his whole energy changed when talking about Clark. He literally lit up saying,
and that is why I love that Caitlin Clark is doing this, because she's saying, wait a minute, I care. She's not throwing any shade on the NBA. I'm doing that, not her. But what she's saying is, the WNBA matters most to me. It matters most to us ladies. I hope it grows to matter more. Let them keep doing what they're doing. We're going to be a part of something significant because we'll never cheat the audience with.
What really stood out was how he emphasized that Clark wasn't throwing shade at either league. Instead, she was making a statement about priorities. As Stephen A. put it, she's saying, the WNBA matters most to me. It matters most to us ladies. I hope it grows to matter more. But it doesn't stop there. While some players are focused on social media clout, Clark is actually giving back to her community. She just awarded 4 $22,000 grants to Iowa-based charities, including the University of Iowa Children's Hospital and the Special Olympics. That's what a true role model looks like, guys. And speaking of Iowa, they have retired her number 22 jersey, making her only the third player in program history to receive this honor. The celebration was incredible, with Clark bringing her entire Indiana Fever team back to play an exhibition game under her newly raised jersey. Now that's how you honor your roots. But of course, we can't talk about women's basketball without discussing the latest Angel Reese drama. While Clark is out there changing the game and giving back to the community, Reese is, well, being Reese. And guys, the drama just keeps coming. In what might be the most Angel Reese thing ever, she just made history, but not the kind you want to be remembered for. She just became the first player ever to be ejected from an unrivaled game. I mean, when you're making that kind of history, yikes. Here's what went down. During a game between the Rose and Laces, Reese got a little too, let's say, passionate while defending Tiffany Hayes.
Hayes on the rollout. How about Rose holding McBride to just 5 points? Reese claps her hands and reaches in.
After getting called for that foul, instead of just accepting it and moving on like a professional, she had to make a show of it, gesturing multiple times to brush off either Hayes or the call. That earned her a technical foul.
So I didn't see the reaction of Tiffany Hayes as she's now standing in front of her.
But wait, it gets better. Instead of cooling down, Reese decided to argue with the officials about her gesture, claiming it was aimed at Hayes, not the referee. Well, guess how that worked out. Second technical, and boom, she's out of there, making history as the first player ever ejected from an unrivaled game. Not exactly the kind of record-breaking moment we've been seeing from Caitlin Clark, is it? And this wasn't even her only drama of the week. During another unrivaled game timeout, Reese was caught on camera trash-talking about Sabrina Ionescu, saying, "Sabrina can't guard."
That 12 was good. Yep. They're switching it, so it was.
The result? Ionescu dropped 32 points, led her team to a 75-63 win, and responded with a simple LOL on Twitter afterwards. Sometimes less is more, you know? Here's the thing. Reese's team is sitting at 1-4 in the season. Maybe, just maybe, she should focus more on her own game instead of running her mouth and getting ejected. Just saying. This brings us back to why Caitlin Clark's approach is so refreshing. While some players are out there collecting technical fouls and ejections, Clark is choosing to make her first three-point contest appearance at the WNBA All-Star Weekend in Indianapolis, her new home court with the Fever. That's not just a personal choice, that's a statement about priorities. Think about it. Clark could have easily taken the NBA's invitation, the spotlight would have been massive, but she understood something bigger, something that seems to be lost on some others in the league. She understood that being a professional athlete isn't just about your own moments in the spotlight, it's about building something bigger than yourself. All right, it's your turn to tell us what you think. What do you think about Griner's move to Atlanta? Should more players follow Clark's example of prioritizing the WNBA? If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so already. Thanks for watching.